Okay, this is why I can't have anything nice in life. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying, if this does not go the way that I planned, I think I'm gonna be a little bit pissed off, if I'm gonna be completely honest. I tried recording this on my phone. My phone, for some reason, never has any space at all, so I can't even make like a 15-minute video. It'll just like, no. So anyway, I'm just gonna do everything on my camera. When I have enough money to get a new camera, then I'll do it. So yeah, so much for trying to give quality. Anyways, basically, yeah, so I was chasing after somebody who was not present for me emotionally or physically, and it just caused me a whirlwind of hurt when I could have prevented all that by really just like knowing my worth and knowing everything that knowing everything, you know, just knowing that, first of all, number one, that gaslighting shit, done for. I know my truth. You know what the fuck it is. Don't do that. Don't do that. From now on, does not matter who it is, and I'm just speaking in general. So you really try that shit with me, try that manipulation bullshit with me, I can see right through you. My intuition and my discernment is on fucking key. Calm down here, Ashley. Calm down. Calm down. Anyway, so basically all of this is leading up to something called Limerence. So y'all remember how I was telling y'all about this this woman that I saw on YouTube, because I was looking at different ways that I can definitely try and help myself when it comes to relationships and things that I was doing wrong. So basically, right, I was one of those people who was in a state of limerence. So what is limerence, you may ask? So a lot of people, they actually don't know. Oh no, it was an Amber Alert. That's disgusting. I don't get why people get excited to steal kids and stuff, like, ew, creep. So yeah, basically, what is limerence? So limerence is, quote, limerence is a state of mind which results from romantic or non-romantic feelings for another person and typically includes obsessive thoughts and fantasies, as well as a desire to form or maintain a relationship with the object of love and to have one's feelings reciprocated. So as a result of a lot of people who have limerence, they actually have, like, you know, addiction issues, and they have some sort of either abandonment issues or they have avoidant personalities. So it's one or the two. So basically what limerence does is it creates this fantasy of someone in your head and not actual reality. So I can always just use myself as an example, because I used to do, a lot of people actually do this a lot. When it comes to my relationships, I always expect it to be like this picture perfect relationship where, you know, the man is just like, I don't know, he's like a prince, like, you know, Prince Charming. When in all reality, everybody that I've dated has been freaking duds and totes. I need to stop. I have no freaking chill. Basically, when you're in limerence, you basically have this idea of a person versus the actual reality of what they are. So it's basically the opposite of actions speak louder than words. Your words speak a lot loud. The words speak louder than actions. But with limerence, right? With limerence, you tend to kind of ignore all the red flags, or you tend to ignore the actual who the actual person is. So it creates this fallacy of what this person really is. So this person in your mind could be absolutely loving and kind and this, that, and the third, but when all reality they're a piece of shit to you, you know? And you create unrealistic expectations when it comes to limerence. So when you have unrealistic expectations of a person, it leads to a lot of disappointment. It leads to a lot of it's just basically just like, one thing that lady said was that expectations, when you put expectations on another person, it's is basically you setting a goal for a person. So imagine if you're at work, right? Not even at work, because at work you have goals and whatever else, you know, you maintain certain things like that you're, you know. But let's say, right, you're in a relationship with somebody and they expect you to cook, clean, take out, like basically the basic stuff that you should do in, you know, as in a, if you resonate with being in a gendered, in a traditional gendered norm relationship, basically a traditional relationship, so where the woman cooks and cleans and, you know, takes care of the kids and works and does basically over 50% of the relationship, and the man just brings the money and is like, okay, give me some sex because whatever else, and I expect my dinner to be cooked by the time that you come home, right? And then if you don't do that, that is an unrealistic, I'm sorry, I need to pause, because that's something that I had to deal with growing up. Like, just the thought of me being a traditional housewife, like, I can do it because that's the way that I was raised to, right? But it's just like the thought of me doing that kind of makes me cringe a little bit, right? Because it's like, excuse me, I work too. I work my ass off when it comes to my business, when it comes to my job. And then I have to come home, I have to take care of kids, I have to cook and clean for you and whatever else. Like, one thing that I would want, and that's not an unrealistic expectation, something that I would want is to have an equal partnership where some days they do the laundry, some days they do this, and some days, you know, it's all vice versa. Like, you know, just, it's all about partnership. Like, you know, it's different if that person was paying all the bills. Like, if that person was paying all the bills and then you were just like a stay-at-home wife, stay-at-home mom, and you didn't do anything, then yeah, okay, I would understand the pissed offness. But nowadays, it's like people, they have that pissed offness, and yet y'all both doing the same shit. You're out here working, she's out here working as well. Why the fuck are you expecting somebody to go over here and do everything, every single thing? You're basically asking her to be a fucking maid and at the same time over here fucking working and paying half the bills. Who the fuck does that? I certainly would not be me. You can suck my ass with that. And that's on that. Sorry, I got triggered again. I got triggered because I just don't like that. The video that I was gonna put on my camera from my phone, I'm about to delete that shit. I'm just gonna go with this, right? So let's film my intro real quick. So it was an episode of Sip and Chat. It was gonna be an episode of Dish and Makeup, but things just didn't go very right. But yeah, I was talking about toxic relationships, talking about toxic friendships, and I'm also talking about just certain things. I may plug in some footage from my phone, but I don't know yet. We'll see when I edit this. So basically, what I was saying before was that, you know, just to sum it up, just so we can get back to what it is, you know, I was talking about the fact that, you know, people nowadays, they idolize certain relationships. So they idolize celebrities, and it always has been like that, but like I'm noticing now, especially with social media, every single relationship that someone's in, oh my gosh, I stan, oh my gosh, this, that, and the third. Like, no, first of all, we don't know them and they don't know you. You don't know what happens behind closed doors. People always, they stand the people that then when they break up, they hear about abuse, they hear about cheating, they hear about people not trusting one another and this, that, and the third. And then they go and they start to pick sides. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not about to be emotionally invested in a freaking relationship. That's not my business because I don't care enough. The only thing I should be caring about is my business, my own relationships, and the things that are going on in my life. And I think that a lot of people should do the same thing. It's weird. It's really weird. Like, come on. I'm getting over a cold, and I'm actually able to speak today. So yeah, now that I'm able to speak, I'm really about to be, you know, on my shit and talking my shit. Okay? Why is it that we idolize these relationships? Like, I feel like if I become famous, and like, let's say that the person that I'm with is famous, I would not want y'all to be all up on my dick when it comes to me and my relationship, or want y'all to idolize anything when it comes to my relationship. Like, that's not your fucking business. Like, people, like, I've seen interviews of people asking the most invasive questions when it comes to people's relationships, and it's like y'all be talking, like, y'all be asking questions about, oh, how do y'all have sex? How do y'all do this? First the fuck of all, what the hell made you feel so fucking comfortable for you to be asking these questions? Like, why are you asking these questions? Like, that's something I never understood. Like, I don't care if you, I don't know if this is just a me thing, but I just really don't care if someone had sex with another person. What somebody does with their body is not my business. It is not yours either, quite frankly. Rant over on that. Just to sum up the first part that I recorded on my phone, a lot of toxic friendships, they happen a lot more than you think. So we're talking about the ones where people, it's an unequal type of friendship. So it's more so they have their own best interest at heart instead of having the both of your best interest at heart. It's more so the things where it's difference between a friendship that argues and whatever else, but when y'all argue and then y'all, like, you know, y'all get down, like, that's, to me, y'all not friends. Y'all frenemies, because, you know, either A, you know too much of their stuff, or y'all been around each other for XYZ amount of years, but y'all really should not be friends in the first place. Like, I've seen that way too many times, and that always goes south. Like, in friendships, you're gonna have your ups and your downs. Like, the people that I'm friends with to this day, like, I consider them my sisters. Like, the people that I've been friends with for years, like, I consider them my sisters, like, for real. Like, I consider them my sisters, and that comes with time. Like, I don't have a problem with with being friends with somebody, but if, like, on the first time that we meet, you call me best friend, I'm automatically, like, kind of off of you, for real, because it's like, what? That's a little too soon for you to be calling me best friend. Like, no, we're not best friends. We're friends. Yeah, we can be friends. We're acquaintances. We're friends. But for you to be calling me best friend after knowing me for 2 weeks, I'm sorry, no, that's a red flag. And it shows me that you have a lot of attachment issues. And this is not going to end well. So, and then, like, you also have friends that, like, you know, you have friends that, you have to be very selective on the type of friends that you have. So you have your party friends, you have I said that in, like, the first or second video, but, like, for real, let's really talk about this, okay? I'm being called to do it, so I'm just gonna do it. You have your party friends, you have your business friends, you have your friends, and then you have your friends that are, like, your sisters. There's, like, huge different, or sisters or brothers, whatever you identify as. So, you know, in regular friendships, you guys don't set each other up, you guys don't fist fight, you guys basically support each other in every single endeavor that you do. And you guys may not talk every single day, but you guys are able to basically just be. And whenever the important things happen, then they happen, you know. You're not gonna be in touch and in contact with your friends all the time, because life happens. Everybody moves in different places. Like, for me, I moved to Texas, so I'm not going to be around my core friends all the time. Obviously, they live on the East Coast. I live in the Central, you know, I live in Texas, so that's not gonna happen. But when you have friends, and, you know, I'm not talking about those friends, because those are my, you know, those are my road dogs. Like, you know, we're not even gonna go into that. So yeah, basically, if your friend, I use that word very lightly, that friend, you're around a group of people and they go around and, like, like, I just want you to notice take note of some things, right? So if you notice that you have somebody that's around you, and every time that you're around either a group of guys or you're around, you know, big name people, whatever else, and they kind of downplay you a little bit, either your business or you as a person, they say little slick remarks or little sly things to people about you, they're not your friend, okay? Or if you confront them and they're like, oh no, it was just a joke, we were just joking, da 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 da. Like, first of all, you need to know that you're not the laughing stock. You're not a fucking joke, Okay, you're not a joke. You're not the laughing stock, and you're not someone's fucking gum on their shoe. Like, no. Friendship also equals respect. Friendship equals respect. If your friend does not respect you, that's not your friend. If your friend does not naturally do things for you, then that's also not your friend either. And if you, how do I put this? Because I don't want this to seem like, it's a difference between giving to somebody and then, every time that you give to somebody, you need to give without the expectation that they're going to give back to you. Every single time. Okay? Because that leads to a lot of disappointment and a lot of sadness, which goes back to the limerence that I was talking about a little bit earlier, because I really started ranting. So, when you place these expectations onto people, it causes a lot more disappointment than what you really need to experience. I swear to God, the minute that I stop placing expectations on people and the way that they treat me, I mean, not the way that they treat me, but the way, the way that I expect them to behave or the way that they need to act, my life has been a hell of a lot easier, I promise to God, because guess what? When I stopped placing those expectations onto people, I just started seeing them for how they are. And you also have to notice the way that people talk, right? So when people, they say certain things, you need to pay attention. You need to pay attention, because that can literally be the pitfall of you and your relationships and just your whole life in general. So you need to pay attention to the things that people say and the way that people act. Mainly the way that people act, but also pay attention to the things that they say too. The things that people say is a clear indicator of where their mind is at when it comes to you or when it comes to certain situations. And you cannot hang out with people who are not in alignment with the way that you're going, with the place that you're going, and the whole purpose of your entire life and what the divine has for you. You cannot. I mean, you absolutely cannot. It does not matter how long you've known them for. It does not matter if you guys believe in the same things, because trust me, I've had a friend who believed in the same thing and then turned around 2 seconds later and went into her shadow side and went and freaking was fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. So you need to watch out. It does not matter if you guys have the same spiritual beliefs. It does not matter if you guys have the same, we go to this place, that, and the third, da, 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 da. No. You need to know that nothing is permanent. Absolutely nothing is permanent. And that is part of the problem that I see nowadays, because now I'm getting back onto it, because this is part of the problem. Because people, they feel like with friendships or even relationships, when they know damn well that it's not good for them to be friends with somebody or to be in a relationship with somebody anymore, right? Just because you were with somebody for 4 or 5 years, does not matter how long, how many kids you have with them, how long the ups and downs of y'all have been together, does not fucking matter. Because at the end of the day, right, if that person is meant to be there, they're gonna be there. Do not force something that is not meant to be. Because when you force something, not only are you working against yourself, you're working against the divine, and your blessings will not be able to come in at all. Okay? And that comes back to the point that I made earlier when I was on the phone. See, that's why I said, I really would, I don't know what's up with my stuff. I'm gonna have to figure that shit out. When it came to certain relationships that I was in, or even people that I've seen, they're with them because, they held me down when I, when things were wrong or when things were tough, or I was with them for XYZ amount of years, and I can't waste that time. You're wasting your time by being with them longer. Let me say that again. You're wasting your time by being with them longer. Cut that shit out. You're in a lot of times people are in toxic relationships because that is what they experienced growing up. And a lot of times people are in relationships because, let's say for example, they grew up in a broken home and now they want to, now they're in relationships with somebody that, you know, they have kids with or whatever else. And no, I'm not speaking about anybody, I'm just speaking in general. But if the shoe fits, you better wear that bitch. So they're in a relationship because, you know, that's not something that they want to experience growing up, right? From somebody who grew up with somebody, with people in relationships that are not people with, you know, in a relationship, like seeing a relationship where they were together simply because of the fact that they're together for the kids. Don't do that. Don't do that. It's going to cause a hell of a lot more harm than it is good. Because the only thing that your kid wants to see is somebody is your parent be happy, compared to all the arguing, the fighting, and all that stuff like that. And then on top of that, it teaches them that that's what to expect from relationships, and so they gravitate towards relationships just like yours. So you need to be careful. That's why that's why that shit shocked me whenever people, they like look up to certain people, look up to certain relationships and whatever else. It's like, no, don't. Yeah, like I said, if your parents' relationship was toxic, more than likely your relationship is going to be toxic as well. But it is up to you. After a certain point in your life, you have to take accountability and responsibility and unlearn behaviors that you saw growing up. Okay? And you know what? Side note, some people, they are certain ways because they have mental health disorders or they have personality disorders. And, you know, although everybody deserves love, you also have to know when it's time to give up. You have to know when it's time to give up, because you have to always put yourself first. I know people always say, you know, hey, like when you're in a relationship, it's not just about you anymore. No, it's not just about you any longer. But you need to always put yourself and your sanity and your mental health and yourself first, as does the other person. So when you put yourself first and your partner puts themselves first, when you guys come together, although you do put put the relationship and everything to the forefront and how you guys are going to build things up, you also have to do not lose yourself. That's what I meant to say. Don't lose yourself being in a relationship just because that's what a lot of people expect. People expect you to really lose yourself or really lose what it is you guys are coming together for. Sometimes, like, that's some people, when they're together for a long period of time, they tend to just forget why they're even together in the first place. And they tend to forget who they are as people. I really the next relationship that I get into, now that I've really learned a lot about myself and learned about the downfalls that was my fault. In relationships, one thing that I'm gonna do different is I'm still gonna have my me dates. I'm still gonna, pamper myself, take myself out, and I'm also not gonna have any expectations, because that's what that limerence stuff that I was talking about earlier, that's what it also leads to. So when someone shows you themselves, you better believe it, okay? And it's hard for a lot of people to really actually accept the way that people are and who they truly are, not the made-up version of them. Everybody has different perceptions, everybody has different expectations, but when you put an expectation onto somebody in a relationship, it's completely unfair, because it's going to lead to a lot of disappointment. Because what I see, my perception is different, because I am the way, how do I put this? I put this really, really well. Basically, collectively, we all have the same conscience, but the way that we view things is completely different due to our experiences and whatever your spirit and your soul has gone through. So the way that I view things is different from the way that somebody else views things. Some people think that we're just humans, and being, humans, like, this is all that we have, this is the life that we have, and that's it. Once we're gone, we're gone. And others believe that, they're spirits just living a human experience, and that life is eternal, And so everybody, they have their own different perspectives of the way that things should be, and the way that life should be, and the way that relationship should be, and the way that friendship should be, and whatever else. And when you mix that in with expectations, it leads to a hell of a lot more disappointments than just actually viewing that person for who they are. When you get out of the habit of limerence, then that is when, like that lady from YouTube, I have to put her name in there because, oh my gosh, I love her channel. I love her videos. Like, it just makes a hell of a lot of sense, and it has helped me a lot. But like she said, the minute that you take away that limerence and you actually see that person for who they are and what they are, you're able to build a genuine connection, because you're not falling in love or falling in limerence with the person that you view in your head for them to be. You're actually falling in love with the person that they actually are. It's just something to think about. A lot of people, they don't accept the actual truth of who the person that they're dealing with is actually is. So when I see certain things, it's sad to see, but then it also reminds me of how far I've come. Because at one point in time I used to do the same thing. I used to fall in love with the idea of being with someone and what I had in my head of how they were versus who they actually were and what it is that they brought to the table. And that causes a lot of conflict. Not only does it cause a lot of internal conflict, it causes a lot of external conflicts, because now you're mad at a person because they're not living up to your expectations, or they're mad at you because you're not living up to their expectations. And that's something that needs to stop. We all need to really sit and we really need to think about the things that, what is real and what is not real. Is what you're expecting from someone, is that realistic? And does that coincide with who they are as a person? Or is that something that you just really, something that you want? Because a lot of times you also attract certain relationships because you're missing something that you need to give to yourself. I don't know how many times I'm going to say that. I feel like I'm going to say that for the rest of my life. It's the truth. You attract certain relationships because it's something that you're missing within yourself. You're missing certain things in your life, and you just have to fix it. You know, some people who I'm just gonna use it for myself. When I was younger, I used to sleep around a lot. I did it because I was looking for that attention that I should have given to myself, and that love I should have given to myself, and that validation that I should have given to myself. Everybody's reasons are different, and I'm not judging them. You know, I'm all for sexual liberation, so go ahead and do what you want to do, but I also know that energetic ties when it comes to having sex. So yeah, do what you want. I'm just not doing that anymore. That's just one for example. But yeah, once you realize that you were in that state of limerence, you need to start doing different things for you to get out of that. So when you do something for somebody, or when somebody does something for you, don't expect them to do it again. Because when you start to and be appreciative in that very moment, and then let it go. Same thing when it comes to yourself. Just honor your emotions, honor your feelings, and then let that shit go. Release both the good and the bad. I'm just reading this note, but it's facts, you know? Before I read this, right? When you finally get to that point of, not expecting something from somebody, if you need to do it from a genuine place, not what can I get from that? Because that's not that you already were doing it for the wrong reasons, and God doesn't like ugly. So just don't even do that. If somebody buys you something, don't expect them to buy it for you again. It's plain as that. And if they continue to do that, then that shows you, okay, that's the type of person that they are, right? Just like if you've seen somebody this whole time just like, oh, I'm sweet, simple, nice, this, that, and the third, but then you start to peep little things of like them really freaking the fuck out. If something really goes wrong, every time something goes wrong, that's them showing you who they really are. People, they wear masks very easily, and that's part of the problem. People, they get into relationships, people get into friendships, and they think that, hey, you know what? yeah, what they showed me the first month or two, hey, yeah, whatever. Like, that's how they are. When in all reality, no, they're just showing you. They're just showing you what they want to show you. Wait until one thing I heard is that, for you to really understand a person, you need to see them when, number one, they're broke. Number two, they're rich. Number three, when they're happy. Number four, when they're sad. Number five, when they're angry. If after all of those things you still mess with that person, you still rock with that person through the good, the bad, the good, like the ugly, the pretty, everything else, and they show themselves as an honorable, if they stay consistent throughout the whole time, and they actually, because everybody, they get angry, everybody, they can lash out and they can act out, but it's all about actions versus reaction as well. So yeah, that's a topic for another day, but actually no, it's not, it's part of this too. But yeah, if they show themselves as being an honorable person, whatever that is for you, because my version of honorable and your version of honorable are two completely different things. Yeah, basically just fall in love with the actual person that they are versus the idea that you have in your head. And I swear to God, that will save you so much heartache and so much pain. So much pain. If I knew everything that I knew now, I swear to God, I would not be in half of the situations that I was in. But I had to go through that in order for me to learn these lessons so I could at least tell y'all. Last point is to have the ability to forgive the past and forgive people because they have their own hurts and their own traumas. So you need to forgive your parent or your friend, or you need to forgive your whoever, because at the end of the day, when two people, they do come together, they come together with their own experiences, and you have to understand that hurt people, they hurt people. And it may tarnish the way that you view things, but you need to learn to forgive, because it's not even for them, it's for you. And you have to have that understanding that, you know what, they just were not in that space at that time for them to be in a relationship with me, and that is fine. I have to accept that, and I have to not only forgive them, I have to forgive myself for accepting behaviors and accepting. Oh, that's making me really emotional. Hold up. I guess this is something I had to say out loud. I had to forgive them for really just the way that they behaved. They didn't know any better. And even if they did know better, God knows people's hearts, and don't worry about what's going to happen to them. And if they're going to get karma or anything like that, that's not for you to decide. That's for God to decide and the universe to decide. Forgive them, release it, so that you can move on and find that person that you're meant to find. I told my cousin the other day, not even the other day, 2 days ago, I told her, I said a lot of people, almost every single person, they have a soulmate, but not everybody finds their soulmate, because they stay stuck in situations because it's the only thing that they know about. And a lot of times they don't feel like they feel like the person that they're with at that very moment in time is their soulmate, when in all reality they're not. Your soulmate, not only do they bring things to you, but they also teach you things from a completely different perspective. It has nothing to do with whether or not you guys are the same, you guys have the same interests, you guys act the same. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the soul. It has everything to do with how you are as a person, how they are, or how you, not as a person, but as spiritual beings. And that is something that a lot of people, they don't understand. They just feel like the person that they've been with for 5 or 6 years, throughout the good and the bad, and just certain things that they like, certain behaviors and certain patterns that they know that is not healthy for them, they choose to stay, all for the sake of wasting time. You're not wasting any time by leaving after 4 years. You're realizing your worth. You're not wasting your energy just because you decided to leave. If anything, you're preserving your energy now. Those 4 years you wasted by being with that person, but you would be wasting even more energy by staying with them. So forgive them, allow yourself to move forward, and You know, someone is out there for you. Someone is out there for you. Someone is out there to love you for who you are, your flaws and all. If someone in the past had told you, doesn't matter, it could be your parent, it could be your a lover, or whoever, your friend, that you weren't good enough, or that you something about you that would not make you a good wife or a good husband, or that you wouldn't be able to find somebody because of XYZ. Because that's happened to me, you know. And that makes me really emotional. So, yeah, you're seeing me really vulnerable. And I'm not one of those people to just cry on the internet. So I'm not going to. But I will cry once I get off of here. Yeah. I guess that message was for me. So, yeah. Cheers to growth. Cheers to everything else in life, and just know that you're enough, and know that you're worth it, and, you know, stop idolizing these people. Those people, they're not you. They're not you. They don't go through the same things that you go through. You don't go through the same things that they go through. And if you do and they're not open about it, then that's just on them. Okay? So that is all I have for you today. If you like this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Shout out to my setting spray because my makeup is still intact. It's still intact. If it doesn't make a lot of sense in the very beginning, then it is what it is. But I already explained it 5 times in this video, so whatever. I love you. I will see you next time. Okay.